Scrum for Startups. Scrum for Startups is a one-day workshop which provides an introduction to managing software projects using Scrum. It was first run in association with UCL Advances. The workshop will give you hands-on experience of using Scrum to specify your work, estimate and plan, work as an effective team. Scrum delivers value by being driven by the needs of the business, regularly delivering software throughout the project rather than leaving it all to the end, evolving the software to satisfy the needs of its users.
My advice, business people, just stick to saying what it is you want, and likewise, developers, you should always focus on how.
The first part of the workshop is concerned with producing a list of product features that can be understood by both customers and developers. Scrum does this by creating a user story for each feature on an index card to summarize who will use it, what it will allow the user to do, and what value the feature gives. Prioritizing your user stories by business value. Creating a list of your user stories in order of priority to make a plan for the developer's work. This is the product backlog. During the workshop, you will gain experience of working as both a customer and developer in order to create user stories on index cards, assessing the business value of your user stories by arranging them on a pinboard, creating a plan for the work so that the features with the most business value, the high priority stories, are delivered first. This is called the product backlog.
It's really useful for us to define our priorities.
Yeah, I thought the stories, like gathering information from potential users, very helpful, and it's very time effective.
Work as a project manager, work the company focus on tasks, so being focused on the real value your project is aiming to deliver is a very useful shift in the way you think about delivering the project, I guess.
During the next part of the workshop, you will learn how developers can estimate the time they need to deliver each user story, so the work can be assigned to the fixed-length development periods in Scrum called sprints. Typically, sprints last 2 weeks and always end with the release of business-ready software. The amount of work done in a sprint is measured in terms of story points. Scrum uses a relative measure of size called story points. This makes replanning work easier than using man days. The number of story points delivered by the team in a sprint is termed its velocity. Knowing the velocity achieved in your last sprint helps you plan how much work you can expect to do in the next sprint. A burn-down chart encourages frequent replanning to hit the sprint milestones by measuring the work remaining. Planning Poker is a useful tool in helping teams come to a consistent measure of size for stories. The team first discuss the story and independently decide its size in story points. To help them, each member of the team has a collection of cards marked with different story point sizes. They range from 0 for a story that requires no effort to 100 for a story that seems to have a large unknown amount of effort. Everyone then puts their cards on the table and take turns justifying their estimate. The team does this repeatedly until a consensus is reached. Here, the team eventually agree on 5 story points for the story, so this becomes the estimate for the story. The team takes user stories from the top of the product backlog until the sum of the story points is just less than its velocity in the previous sprint. Here, 17 story points are selected because the velocity in the previous sprint was 20. During a sprint, progress is measured at the start of each day by updating a graph showing work left to do versus time remaining. This is called the Sprint Burn-Down Chart, and it is a key tool for monitoring the progress of the team. You can see here how the scope of the work was reduced on Wednesday and then again on Thursday, so the team could meet its goal by Friday. The final part of the workshop covers how Scrum helps your team work effectively. Breaking the development work into fixed-length periods called sprints, holding a 10-minute meeting called the Daily Scrum at the start of each day, so each member of the team knows what work he's responsible for delivering and gets the help he needs. Having a half-day meeting at the end of each sprint called the Sprint Review, so the team can present the working software they have created to management and interested users. In order to help you grasp the main concepts underpinning Scrum, you will play the XP game. This doesn't involve writing any code. Instead, you have to work in a team to estimate and plan tasks like blowing up balloons and building a card house. Then adapt your plans in the light of the experience gained in order to get the highest points and so deliver best value.
So you like the XP game?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the best part of the entire workshop. And the workshop itself was really informing, but the game blew my mind away.
Now I know the language the team are expecting me to speak, so I can certainly do that.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Definitely enjoyed participating in some of the more interactive parts and learning some techniques such as the planning poker game.
Definitely recommend it to my friends as well.